Good morning, backyard kids. March is off to a great start as we learn more about cooperation. So, do you remember from last week what cooperation means? Well, cooperation means working together to do more than one person could ever do by themselves. And last week, our story came from way back in the Old Testament, during the time when God had given instructions to Moses for the Israelites to build a temple for him and how they should do it, what they should use, and what that should look like. So the people worked together to do that. So this week, we're going to hear more about Moses. Now, you may remember that Moses was following God's instruction and leading the Israelites through the wilderness after they had been rescued from Egypt to a land that was going to be their own, that God had promised them. They traveled for a really long time, for years and years and years. And while they traveled, they were open to enemy attack. They weren't in a city with walls that could protect them, so they were an easy target. And sure enough, one day they were attacked by a neighboring group called the Amalekites. Well, luckily, Moses had a plan. So he spoke with Joshua, who was their military leader, and he told him to pick some Israelites to go with him and to go fight against the Amalekites. Then Moses told Joshua that he would stand on the top of the hill above them, holding the walking stick that God had given him. Now, this walking stick was the same one that Moses had raised up when God parted the Red Sea for the Israelites to escape from Egypt. It was enough then, but would it be enough to help them now? Well, meanwhile, Joshua and the other warriors were preparing for battle with the Amalekites. But they had faith, even though they were worried, they had faith that God would take care of them because he had done it many times before. So as Joshua and the warriors gathered in the valley, Moses climbed the hill nearby with his brother Aaron and his friend Hur. And below them, the three men could see the two groups of warriors clashed in battle. On the top of the hill, then, there stood Moses, grasping his staff and holding it raised high. And while his hands were raised, the Israelites began winning. But when Moses got tired and had to lower his hands, the Amalekites started to win. Moses struggled to keep his hands raised so that the Israelites would continue winning, but he kept getting tired. He wouldn't be able to keep this up all day, and he might not be able to do it long enough for the Israelites to defeat this other group. But Aaron and Hur knew what to do. So together, they rolled a huge stone, over to where Moses stood so that he could sit down. And so he sat on the stone while he continued to keep his hands raised high. Then Aaron and Hur stood each on one side of Moses, and they helped Moses to keep his hands raised in the air. So while he did this, again, the Israelites continued to win. So all day, Aaron and Hur stood there for the rest of the day holding Moses' hands up. They kept his hands steady, and by sunset, the Israelites had completely defeated the Amalekites. Now, in this story, the Israelites won by God's power, but this power was given to them through Moses as he kept his hands raised to God. And the reason that Moses was able to do this all day long was because he had the help of Aaron and Hur. They taught us something very important that day about cooperation. They worked together to help Moses to do what needed to be done so that God could guide the Israelites through this battle. So the good news, guys, is that we can do this every single day. See, God works through us as we cooperate to help others. God has a plan for each one of us, and we get to be a part of that plan in each other's lives.